I'm Sarah Star, and this is your space weather forecast for the day. Did you guys see the X-class flare? And if you haven't, you're late, but let's catch you up. Right now we have two CMEs, one from the 11th and the 12th, impacting Earth right now. We had the geomagnetic shock already. We are expected to see this X-class flare impact late on Sunday, but if it doesn't arrive prior to that, then it is going to be a much larger geomagnetic storm. We also have a very high level of protons in the air right now, and you might be feeling wired. Were you able to sleep at all? Was your body buzzing, ear ringing, ear popping? That's that new higher vibrational frequency that is coming into the earth, and you're kind of getting adjusted to it little by little. Okay, before we get into the big news, let's talk about the planetary alignments and how you're going to feel. This is all about bossing up right now because we're rising up to the challenge. We're improving and we're fixing and we're healing all of the things that have been holding us back and that have been preventing you from moving forward. But this is a welcome shift because this is going to open you up to new possibilities. It's pushing you out of your comfort zone. We have the moon shifting into Aquarius energy right now. So what that means is that you're going to see things from a newer perspective because you're detaching from circumstances that obviously no longer align with you, but yet again, you're going to see this from a new phase. So right now, it's all about problem solving. It's all about pushing for this change. Boss up, own up, let's go. But remember, don't take big steps right now. Mercury retrograde, don't do it. Okay, let's get into solar weather. This is big. So we had a massive X-class flare. This is the strongest flare since September of 2017. So this X-class flare came from 3514. This already gave us multiple M-class flares before it finally exploded. This sent us directly into an R3 strong radio blackout. It sent us into a type 2 and a type 4 radio sweep. And this was a very powerful, long duration solar flare. This gave us a high 10 flare radio burst and a Castelli U radio signature. And it was extremely fast moving. We had a lot of this bulk around 2,000 kilometers per second, and that's why it reached us within less than 8 minutes. Yet again, a very, very powerful X-class flare, and we are going to be affected by this in the next coming of days, guys. Technically, we're already being affected by it. So this is the radio blackout that happened at that exact moment. It was pulsing over South America and North America. However, it did gravitate towards the other regions as well, and it is continuing to pulse today. And this is where we're at currently. So this is our proton level. The region that emitted that solar flare had very high percentage of protons. And this is what happens. This is why you might have been extremely drained yesterday and that you were experiencing those higher ascension symptoms. So we have a very large rise in our proton flux energies right now. We are reaching those S1 solar radiation minor storms at the moment. And if we have another X-class or M-class or anything from that region, this is going to go even higher and it is going to last for a couple days. This can stay on our planet in our atmosphere for a very long duration. So on this chart, you can see that our solar protons are reaching that S1 solar radiation storm level, and they are going to continue to rise. This is what the sun currently looks like. So we have quite a bit of regions. We have 8 sunspot regions on the sun right now. We are going to look at 3514. That gave us a couple of those M-class flares and that very high X-class flare. It is heading off of the sun. I do want to note we had another filament eruption in the northeastern quadrant that will also come into play here in the next coming of days. And 3514 is going to go off again. We've already had multiple M-class flares today back to back, producing more CMEs. We have a very high percentage of having another X-class flare from this region with a high proton percentage. And this is what I mean. All of these spots are being pushed together right now. So they are going to have several eruptions. If you note, 30% chance for an X-class flare. 30% chance for this proton level when a solar flare is ejected from here. But note, this is going to go off again. Your technology is going to be affected. You are going to be affected. And note, we also have this large coronal hole that is now Earth facing. So it is going to push all of these things in faster. Higher velocity, higher density, higher pressure, high solar proton radiation. But note, we have those two CMEs. These are those two CMEs right here. It's going to be a very weak enhancement. We're expected to reach some KP5 levels whenever these do arrive, which they already have. We had a shock arrival. I'll show you in a second. But these are from the 18th. You can see them passing. We do not have the model analysis for the X-class flare, but hopefully we have the data come later today or tomorrow, just so we can see how large of an impact that is going to be on Earth. But here is the shock arrival from the first CME that happened on the 11th. Remember, it was very, very slow moving. So right now, we are kind of still in very low ranges with density. We did hit a 40 mark on here, but we are down around 15 right now. Yet again, here is the initial shock of that CME. These are going to be weak, just so you know. It's not going to be very, very high. We might reach G1 geomagnetic storm levels, which is minor, but it will pretty much increase to maybe a G2, G3 geomagnetic storm with the upcoming other CMEs. And that's why we're supposed to reach these KP5 levels today and tomorrow. Now, like I said, if we don't get that CME from the X-class flare on Sunday, it's probably going to be on Monday or Tuesday. It is going to be very bulky and it is going to have quite a disruption upon us. And then lastly, we are going to look at our Schumann. So we still are getting some density right now. This has a lot to do with that Mercury retrograde. This has a lot to do still with the new moon and the new year and the winter solstice and the X-class flare coming. So we have a lot of factors right now. We are going to be able to become emotionally triggered very easily right now. So this is going to have an impact on a lot of people today, especially if they haven't done this inner work. But it's really hard when we have higher energies to keep our cool and to keep aligned and balanced, because it's really, really throwing you off. So geez, yeah, we got a lot going on. The best thing that you can do during this time is to ground and get outside. Yeah, I'm the broken record, I get it. But seriously, it's the best thing that you can do. Grounding outside, being in the sun, taking an Epsom salt bath, meditation, sound frequency healing, anything to get this stagnant energy moving through you and out of you so you feel a little bit more comfortable. And remember, this is going to fuck with you cognitively as well. And are you vibrating? Those who are really sensitive to this energy know exactly what I'm talking about. When it happens, even prior to it happening, you can feel a buildup, and then when it happens, you're just so affected. It's a lot of energy and it's high energy. So yet again, if you are sensitive, you need to go out and you need to ground. This is imperative. Also, we have geomagnetic storms coming up. We have solar radiation storms coming up. So you really need to hydrate. Now is the time to hydrate. These will deplete you completely. And remember, you are going to have technological glitches. So don't be surprised if we have another X-class flare, guys. How are you feeling? Did you feel an impact from that X-class flare yesterday? Were you buzzing around and bouncing off the walls? Could you not sleep at all? No, for real. I'm Sarah Starr, and this is your space weather forecast for the day. Love ya.